Let's get into it. Welcome everybody to Zac the Ripper Reviews Monday Night Raw. So we started the show off with Retribution coming out, this time in the hokiest Mad Max masks possible. Now we saw Mia Yim, who has yet to be named, cut a promo, and you know what? I said it when she was on the indies, and I have friends that are friends of hers. She's not good. Get the mic out of her hands. Mercedes Martinez, former DCW wrestler, and if any of you follow me, you know that I have a huge background with Dynamite Championship Wrestling in Delaware. Mercedes Martinez also there. So these guys, Retribution, who tormented WWE for the last 3 months, get contracts after their main gripe was being in the Performance Center, which, you know what, TV viewers shouldn't even know what a Performance Center is. They get contracts, and now they're free to do anything they want on the premises. We send out the Hurt Business, which is probably the most over thing on Monday Night Raw right now. A group of heels, bad guys, now taking on a group of bad guys. Now, don't get me wrong. Is it intriguing? Yes. Shades of gray, always entertaining. But if you're marketing to Mattel, you're marketing to children, this is not the way to do it. So what we did was we basically set up a match that would take place later on tonight, which I will go into later on in this video. Number 1 contenders match for the Tag Team Championship. We had a 3-way tag. From the Ultimate Prospect, the Prince himself, Dominic Mysterio, teaming with Humberto Carrillo, the very reason channel changers were invented. They took on the Messiah of Monday Night Raw, Seth Rollins, and his disciple Murphy, and their opponents, the third tag team in this match, who are no strangers to tag team championship opportunities because they've had 836,000 of them, Andrade and Angel Garza minus Zelina Vega. The past few months we've seen heated issues between Angel Garza and Andrade, with Zelina in the middle. Zelina, as of last week on Raw, has left this tandem, and this tandem, despite the promising performances of Dominic Mysterio and Murphy, go on to win. The big story coming out of this matchup, however, is that Seth Rollins walked out on Murphy towards the end of the matchup. Now, we've seen developments between them for a long time now, going back to the days of Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins, where Murphy reluctantly did the bidding of Seth Rollins. Just last week, after that vicious steel cage match, Seth Rollins unleashed an attack on Murphy. Murphy had nothing to say this week, by the way. That's kind of odd. Continuity. It's now time to fall asleep as Kevin Owens makes his way to the ring for the KO show. His special guest, promoter of Raw Underground, Shane McMahon. They actually do acknowledge their history, which I found surprising and pleasant. It's not long before Dabba-Kato and Braun Strowman both make their way to the ring and get into it. KO with a huge slap on Dabba-Kato, and shortly after that, the greatest moment on this Monday's Raw is Aleister Black coming from out of nowhere, yanking Kevin Owens right into the ring post multiple times. Multiple times means multiple faces. Just 1 month ago, many of you online were clamoring for the chance of Keith Lee, the Limitless One, taking on Drew McIntyre, the WWE Champion. WWE has now given it to us what feels like 6 times in a row, because it's happened on multiple Raws in multiple segments. And yet again, on this night, on this Monday Night Raw, we did it again, this time with a disqualification victory. The flaws of Keith Lee are glaringly obvious. He needs to cut weight. And I'm not saying it to be mean because I've never been a small guy myself. I'm saying it because the mainstream audience will not receive him the way he wants to be received. And you can say till you're blue in the face that, well, he's on Monday Night Raw, Zach. I get it. But the reason he came out in a dress a month ago, because Vince McMahon himself saw fact. Now, Keith Lee is talented. He has a promising career ahead of him. but he needs to work on his physique and he needs to work on his facials, because he has one facial all the time. That's not gonna cut it, and he needs to step it up a gear. Every match I've seen him in, he has been at first gear the whole time. Until that, as you can see in this graphic, the best spot for him is getting put through a table by Drew McIntyre. The second #1 contenders match of the evening up next, as Zelina Vega takes on longtime close personal friend of Zack the Ripper Comics, Mickie James, where the winner will go on to fight Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship this Sunday at Clash of Champions. Zelina Vega with the win, and you know what? This is where she belongs. She has busted her ass the entire pandemic era of Monday Night Raw, and she deserves this, and I'm actually looking forward to what she can produce in a big pay-per-view atmosphere. Any professional wrestling fan can attest to the fact that WWE sometimes does things that are very inappropriate and sometimes very comedically stupid. And on Monday Night Raw, they actually combined the two of those in the 24/7 championship match that took place on a beach between champion R-Truth and Akira Tozawa, who is a Japanese wrestler now dressing as a ninja. I'll let that sink in for you guys. Not only was this really horribly shot, but they had a shark eat Akira Tozawa, who no doubt will be on Monday Night Raw next week. The only good thing coming out of this entire segment was the fact that R-Truth's beach towel looked a lot like the Ultimate Warrior's 1990 gear against Rick Rude in that amazing steel cage match. One of the more entertaining developments in recent weeks is the budding, no pun intended, Murphy and Aaliyah Mysterio relationship that seems to be forming. We saw the beginnings of it last week following that steel cage match where she briefly checked on him after Seth Rollins' vicious attack. And then just again on this Monday Night Raw, backstage after Aaliyah in a childish temper tantrum stormed out on her family, Murphy found her, let her know that he was not there to harm her in any way, and proceeded to offer his friendship. Could this just be a big setup from the Seth Rollins mind? Or are we seeing the beginning stages, the seeds set for the next Triple H Stephanie-esque relationship?
In the Who Cares match of the evening on Monday Night Raw, Apollo Crews would get a victory over Cedric Alexander. The only thing worse than this is the fact that Apollo Crews is once again facing Bobby Lashley for the United States Championship this Sunday at Clash of Champions. Now go underground to Raw Underground. I know, horrible segue, but horrible matches came from it. Dolph Ziggler with a victory over Arturo Ruas, who has only been featured in Raw Underground thus far and not at all on the main portion of the show. Riddick Moss, who actually impresses me somewhat, and I think given the right creativity that this guy could be a top tier player in the years to come. Braun Strowman, former Universal Champion, who has not even mentioned the championship or Roman Reigns since losing it at Payback, took on Dabba-Kato in the Raw Underground main event of the evening and absolutely demolished Kato, who they spent 2 months building up. Lana and Natalya continue to get punished for Lana's husband Rusev leaving WWE and showing up on AEW Dynamite just a week ago as they took another loss at the hands of the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. Raw Women's Champion Asuka in a tune-up match for this Sunday's Clash of Champions encounter with Zelina Vega would take on Peyton Royce, who for some reason had Billie Kay in her corner. Just a couple of weeks ago they split this team up and now they're back in each other's corner. What was the point of that? I don't know. Hopefully it's long-term storytelling.
You know, there used to be a term in professional wrestling behind the scenes called go home show. These were the shows that happened the Monday before, the Thursday before, the Friday before the pay-per-view that Sunday. And they would put all their cards on the table as one final selling point to get the viewer to purchase that Sunday's pay-per-view. That model has since dissipated since the invention of the WWE Network, and that's fine. However, I will say that the end of this Monday Night Raw was well done, because the final moments of the show focused around the WWE Championship. After Drew McIntyre and company helped clear the ring of Retribution, Randy Orton from out of nowhere nailed Drew McIntyre with an RKO. And they left us with the vision of Randy Orton standing tall over Drew McIntyre's body, which in my opinion is a huge selling point for this Sunday's ambulance match. I want to thank my patrons. I very much appreciate what you guys have done so far. Thank you to all of you that have liked the Facebook page, found me on Instagram, and please don't forget to share the YouTube videos and visit the eBay store for all of your comic book and video game needs. My name is Zach the Ripper Comics. Until next time.